Very important subject today is watering, correct watering, and we're going to do a little
get
myth
asked this.
busting. Yeah, 10,000 times.
We
maybe?
get asked this all the time. They want to know, how much do I give it? Just tell me. Just tell me how much water do I give it?
Yeah, and then the bad habit of watering a hanging basket until it comes
Pours
out the bottom. And so that's what we're going to be addressing today. And probably a lot of you are not going to like the answer. That's okay. We can still be friends, all right? You don't even need to be like mean comment people, but you can take the information and do whatever you want with it.
And please hit that follow and subscribe.
Yeah. So
That would be really helpful.
if you're watching on Facebook, hit the follow button on our page.
We'll tell them
And
that
then-
before we tell them the answer they
Yes.
don't want to hear.
Yeah, and then of course on our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button so that you get those notifications when we do new videos. So let's first, you can put that down if you want. I know it's heavy.
Actually, I have it kind of comfortably.
Okay.
Aren't these beautiful though? Take a look at those. Those are sun impatiens.
Gorgeous. I love that color. It was actually a triple.
You did say, can you grab that tray?
Yeah,
So
it's beautiful.
I have it.
I would put these in our yard.
We have them in our yard.
Good, fantastic. All right, so let's get right into. We're gonna be talking about watering hanging basket. What's the correct amount? But I want to address the bad habit of so many people do this, and some people get away with it. But watering a hanging basket until it comes out the bottom, that's a no-no. Yeah, I know. And people are like, what? I do that all the time. Fantastic. Great. But it's not right. So, and we're going to go into that reasoning. So, watering this till it comes out the bottom. Overall, that is a bad habit, and we don't want to do it. We want to give it the correct amount. And I know a lot of you, even on a tag, some people said, hey, the Proven Winners tag says to water it till it comes out the bottom. I 100% disagree with that, because we know our customers. We know our customers, and we know that if we take 1,000 of them and they do that, 90+% of them will wipe out their hanging basket and look terrible because they're overwatering. So I cannot wrap my mind around why I would take 90% of my customer base and tell them to overwater.
And you're also talking regional too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're down in the very, very hot states, you might be able to get away with that.
Yeah.
But up in Wisconsin, we're back in pants today.
Yeah. The Midwest or upper Midwest, but this still applies across the nation, and we can prove that. Today, it was cold. It was cold this morning, but it's going to get 90 degrees today, which means it'll be 130 degrees in these greenhouses. What I'm not going to do with these hanging baskets, even though it will be 130 degrees in the greenhouses, I will not water this until it comes out, because that's incorrect. And if I do that day after day after day, it's going to sting me.
So let's talk about why that's incorrect. Because a lot of people say, well, that's great, you have a different opinion.
Yeah.
But let's look at the science or the facts behind why that's not correct.
So when we're overwatering is what we're doing. And so we're watering until it comes out the bottom. And I'm talking the habit. I'm not talking about once in a while. But that's not what we're talking about. Of if you do that and it pours out the bottom and it's just a once in a while, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about that day in, day out,
Right.
watering it every single day, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, like that. That's where it will build up, and it's just too wet, and those roots will eventually rot. Now, you might get away with that if you live in Texas or somewhere hot and that water saturates, and then it might dry down. Mm-hmm. I would much rather water multiple times, and I will today for sure. I know that I'll be watering multiple times because that's correct, rather than I'm just gonna hit this once, water it, way overwater it, way saturate it, and have it running out the bottom, and that ends up catching up to me over time.
I always like to reference it too, because a lot of people can like imagine wet clothes in a washing machine overnight.
Yeah.
You know, they get the funkiness, they get that little smell to it, and you're like, oh, I forgot my clothes.
Sure.
That's what's happening down at the bottom by the roots.
Yeah.
And if they're getting funky and if they're getting kind of like
Yeah, icky,
icky,
icky
like
and rotting
slimy.
over time. Yeah,
They're going to not absorb because they're not doing well. They're not going to absorb the water, and that's going to make your plant on the top look.
it's gonna show at
It's
some
going to
point.
look dry
Yeah.
because you're like, "Oh, it's dry. I am watering it all the time. It's pouring out the bottom. Then, it still looks dry. That's because they can't drink. It might be sopping wet down there, and you put your finger in there like, well, it's wet, but it looks dry, so I'm going to give it more.
Yeah, and you compound that
They
problem.
can't absorb the water if they're rotting,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's the problem.
The root system will shut down, and it happens over time. So all of a sudden, people are like, "Yeah, my hanging basket just up and died." Well, it was dying because it was a bad habit, and it finally caught up to you. And that 30 days, 60 days, and then it just gave up the ghost.
And a lot of people say, "Oh, it was the heat."
Yeah, no, it was your bad habit.
It was the time frame of your bad habit.
Yeah, I just get into July and my basket's just, well, it started back here, bad habit, bad habit, bad habit, bad habit, and yeah, in July, that plant gave up the ghost.
Okay,
because
so
it came forward on you.
Let's go to what is the good habit.
Yes. Okay.
And how much should they actually give it to drink?
Yeah.
Because that's the question that nobody wants to hear.
So
I should say the answer.
yeah, so like that's I think that's the easy way out of the I just water it till it comes out the bottom. Well, I think that's the easy way out at which people go with it. But you want to actually learn the correct amount, and the correct amount is I'm going to give this hanging basket what it needs for 24 hours. Now, I'm not going to tell you an exact amount because our weather, especially in Wisconsin, changes up and down, and it's rainy this day, it's cold, it's 90 degrees, it's windy. All those things change. That weather changes, so my watering habits have to change. The amount of water that I'm actually going to give this basket has to change. It is a moving target. It never stays here. Some people, hey, if you live in Aruba, high of 86, low of 82, and it never changes 365 days a year. Okay, we're not talking to you. Everybody else where that weather is doing this, especially in Wisconsin, is doing this. Our habits, that daily habit has to change.
Right.
I can't, and people just want to pin us down on just tell me, do I give it 2 quarts every single day? Maybe.
I don't know.
Can't tell you that because that weather target is all over the place. I can't tell you to give us 2 quarts of water every single day. So what should you give it? Well, you gotta kind of learn that. That's a part of the gardening. If you want to have a green thumb, you learn. You learn what to do. It's not just a guess of like, I'll just throw 2 quarts of water in there every single day. So the best thing we can do is lift the hanging basket, and I like a nice heavy hanging basket. So if you have a great example with the light as popcorn.
Yeah, well, you have to take this. Don't go poundage because this size hanging basket is different than an 8-inch.
This is like 40 pounds, where a little hanging basket
take the idea of this.
Yeah.
If you lift the basket and
Yeah.
it feels like a bag of sugar, where it's very heavy, maybe you tip it to the side and the water's pouring out the side.
Mm-hmm.
That's too much water.
Yeah, if
that's
it's heavy.
Or leave it. Like that's you leave it.
Mm-hmm.
But if it feels like a bag of popcorn, and I will guarantee you, even a big basket like this, even with all of that soil and all of that plant, it will feel like a cloud, like a bag of popcorn.
I'm expecting this to weigh 40 pounds, and I go to lift it, and I almost throw it. You're like, whoa, that's light.
Yeah. And so you want to be somewhere in between there. And when you're talking about a big basket like this, they are going to be much heavier than an 8-inch basket.
Yeah, and as this basket grows, it's going to change the needs.
Mm-hmm.
So this hanging basket is going to double in size yet, which means it's the requirements, the daily requirements are also going to change. It's going to require more water because it's consuming more, especially as we get into the hotter days.
It changes. Like sometimes it'll go into growth mode.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's consuming the water all the time. And then sometimes it'll go into just a hanging out. Like it won't, not that it won't drink, but it won't drink as much sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's So we talk about that a lot in our videos, and we have an entire watering list, how to water correctly, because that is so important. If you don't get watering correctly, your hanging baskets, your flowers will never look the way that they should. And we want them to, and that's why we encourage you. You watch our videos. We have tons of videos where we talk about this. So, getting that 24-hour mentality down pat, you need to learn. You need to learn what it's going to take to get those, and you will if you do it. If you're open to learning, you will learn that and implement those good habits. That's what we want you to have, those good habits.
We've had a lot of people come and say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that I finally can get my basket to grow and look beautiful. You helped out so much."
Yeah.
So if you're one of those people, go ahead, make the comment in there, confirm what we're talking about. And if you're not, just out of curiosity, are you an overwater? Are you an underwater? Or do you hit somewhere in the happy medium? Put that in the comments. Let us know, because this is a topic that in the greenhouse we get asked all the time.
Over and over again.
And a lot of people want to be very specific, like, do I give it exactly 8 ounces? Do I give it...
They're analytical people.
They are, and that's not the way. It's kind of like raising a kid. We don't have a manual.
Yeah.
And
you've got Billy and you've got Mary, and you're like, this kid... responded to this. This kid did not. This kid could care less if he's stuck him in the corner.
Big families are always like, there's not 2 options.
They're not alike. You can't.
Unlimited options.
Yeah. So.
But I think we were talking earlier, like, how can we make you understand? Because there's going to be some of you that say, I water out the bottom and my stuff looks beautiful.
That's how I do it. Yeah, and that's fine.
And we were talking about this before, and you're like, how can we talk about this so that they understand? And you brought up.
Yeah, because so smoking. Okay, smoking's bad for you, right? Can we all agree that smoking's not good for your health? Okay. But you think of like those somebody's got a little old grandma, and they're like, they smoked a pack a day and they lived into their 90s. So what what does that mean? Well, grandma got away with it, right? And that's exactly the same thing with people that water the hanging basket until it pours out the bottom. And a lot of you say, I do that, and my flowers look fine. Fantastic, great, you got away with it. So it's kind of like that smoking. And if we take 10,000 people, we know that health. If we assess that health, we know that it's not good for you. Same thing with the watering, the overwatering and watering until it comes out. A lot of you are going to say, I do that all the time and my flowers look great. Fantastic. Good job. Yay. You did it wrong. You got away with it. But overall, if I take 10,000 of you, that's not going to be the scenario. Most of you, the vast majority of you, will kill your hanging baskets that way. And we don't want that. We want you to have beautiful hanging baskets just like these. That's why we're giving you this information. And we hope that you will implement it and learn how to water correctly using that 24-hour mentality.
And if your plants are dying by July, August, and you're saying it's the heat, go ahead, try the watering. Let's see if that.
Yeah, get the care correct.
Yes.
They should look fantastic. They should look absolutely beautiful. You should have people rubbernecking at your yard and saying, "Oh my goodness, Edna, what are you doing?" I water correctly because before I didn't. Now I do. Let people know, like, well, gee,
And fertilizing, because it's Fertilizer Friday.
Yep.
Fertilizing is obviously a big key in keeping the baskets blooming like what you see behind us.
Right. So we want the baskets to have the nutrients, and if they don't have the nutrients, they're not going to flourish and look like they do. And that overwatering, guess what we're flushing out every single time we're doing that? We're flushing out those nutrients. We don't want to do that. So we want to give that basket what it needs and keep the nutrients in there so that it can be absorbed into the soil, into the roots, and into the plant and blossom. So we do want to highlight one of our new Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer retailers, and that's Anna's Garden in Cleveland, Texas. So Anna's Garden, we got Texas.
We got Texas.
Yeah, we got Texas. We got a retailer in Texas. So Anna's Garden in Cleveland, Texas.
Beautiful. So you can find other retailers across the United States, and you can go on to the beatyourneighbor.com, go to the retailer locator map, and see who is near you, who sells the Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer. We really want you to go in and tell them we said hello, and give them the support for that business. If you can't, and there's some areas that we don't have retailers in, which greenhouses out there, contact us. But if you don't have one near you, then you can go ahead and order it right on the site at beatyourneighbor.com, and we can ship it to 48 states.
Currently, yeah, awesome. So
with that, it's Fertilizer Friday.
Fertilizer Friday. Guess what I'm doing? I've got a lot of plants to go through and fertilize and do it correctly with my watering. so again, we want you to have success. We want you to have beautiful flowers. That's why we do these videos. And we want you to have big, beautiful hanging baskets like this. And if you've had success, let us know. And especially in those, there's a lot of like Facebook pages just on super petunias, and we've been getting a lot of great people are commenting and letting others know about, hey, go watch Sharkey's greenhouses, watch our YouTube channel. They got a lot of great videos. Their Beat Your Neighbor fertilizer is awesome, and we want to thank you for that word of mouth is just
golden.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, we can't thank you enough for that word of mouth of, there's people commenting all the time, and that we don't even know, but there's pages and where they're saying, hey, go watch these videos, and they're
That's because
they're
they've had
showing our
success
videos.
with it.
Yeah, when others have success, and like, you should see the flowers that I grew this year. It's because I was able to stop doing this, break those bad habits, and start implementing correct habits. And your stuff should look awesome all summer long. That's what we want. So again, thank you for joining us, and we will see you again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.